Welcome to Becoming a School Board Member, presented by the Washington State School Directors Association, also known as WSDA. I'm Tricia Lubach, WSDA's Director of Leadership Development. Today, we're going to cover a number of topics to help you learn more about the role of a school board member and how you might be interested in applying for one. First topic we'll cover is what school boards do. What are the roles and responsibilities of a school director, and what aren't they? Second, we'll take a look at how the Washington education system works. It can be complicated to understand, so we'll go through it piece by piece. We'll also talk about how to run for office. Let's start with Washington's school governance system. First of all, what is a school director? It's important for you to know that school directors are one name for school board members or members of your local school board of education. School directors serve as one member of a school board responsible for governing the school district as a team. And school directors are elected locally in odd-numbered years. Most terms are 4 years, but some are 6. It depends upon the district. The governance team is made up with the school directors and the superintendents from an individual district. Together, they govern the team and lead the school district. The governance team is most effective when they're working together towards the same district goals within their unique roles as a school director or a superintendent. It's also important to realize that individual school directors have no legal authority on their own. Authority is exercised only by a quorum or a majority of the board. Let's look at the statewide system in Washington. It's both a statewide and local governance combination. So in Washington state, we have 295 public school districts and 6 state tribal education compact schools. There are 1,477 school directors within those school districts and about 1.2 million students within our schools statewide. The system itself employs more than 160,000 employees and has an annual state budget of almost $12 billion. Who is WSDA? The Washington State School Directors Association is a state agency that's authorized by the legislature to be self-governing. All Washington state public school directors are automatically members when they are either elected or appointed to their boards. WSDA focuses on providing training, advocacy, policy, and legal guidance for school boards across the state. Let's zoom out a bit and take a look at who does what in education. The state legislature provides funding for education. State and federal lawmakers legislate laws as well. Those laws then move into OSPI, which is the Office of the Superintendent of Public Instruction, and to the State Board of Education, where they adopt rules that incorporate those laws. WSDA then takes those rules, as well as some of the laws that are not developed into rules, and creates model policies for them. Those model policies are then provided to our school directors and their school districts in order for the school boards to adopt them, revise them, and update their own model policies. This is how school boards govern at a local level. Once those policies are adopted and become part of the school board policy in a district, the superintendents are then tasked with managing and operating within their local school districts. Let's talk about serving on your local school board and what that might mean for you. This is a great graphic that talks about what makes for a great school board director. There are a variety of elements that make you a good school director and may make you a great candidate for it. It's important to have an open mind. So both the ability to hear and to think with your head and make sound decisions are really important. Additionally, you want to make sure that you are willing to share your own voice, communicate effectively, as well as listen to the voices of others. Flexibility is an important trait as well as being willing to reach out to others, asking them for their input. What are their experiences? What are their dreams and hopes for education within your community? An effective team also includes diversity. This is a great quote. A diverse mix of voices leads to better discussions, decisions, and outcomes for everyone. A school board that has a variety of different perspectives and backgrounds on it can be very helpful. Let's take a look at what school directors do. What's their function? So, the three primary functions of a school board are visionary leadership, effective governance, and strategic advocacy. These are the four areas in which school boards do things. Let's take a further look at how these functions are applied. Weaving throughout all of the work that school directors do are several commitments. The three primary commitments are equity, student success, and community engagement. So if you think about the work that school board members do, these three commitments are important in almost every element. So for example, if the board is looking at approving a budget for the school year, they'll really want to consider these commitments as they think about how to apply the funding in a way that impacts their commitment to equity, student success, and community engagement within the district. Likewise, there are three principles that run through all of the work of school boards: modeling collaboration, operating in the board domain, and serving with professionalism and expertise are three principles. You'll note that the first one, modeling collaboration, is really based on the team. How does the governance team work together and collaborate with each other, even when they don't agree with each other or to have different values? The second one, operating in the board domain, goes to the roles that school boards hold. The superintendent and the school directors have different roles that are complementary. So, keeping within the board domain and letting the superintendent work within the superintendent's domain are important principles. Last, the serving with professionalism and expertise really goes to an individual school director. Are you modeling the behavior you expect to see and serving as good community representative? You can see how all of these functions, commitments, and principles interact with each other and weave together across all of the work of school boards. Let's take a deeper dive into how the board governs the district. There are five primary areas, and you can see them listed here. It includes vision, mission, and goals, finance, community engagement, policies, and hiring and evaluating the superintendent. If we take a look at how vision, mission, and goals help the school board govern the district, let's think about what those words mean. The mission explains what the purpose of the school district is. The vision asks, what is the school district's ideal future if it accomplishes its mission? And finally, once those are identified, some goals are set to explain how that vision will be accomplished. The vision, mission, and goals are often set forth in a strategic plan. And as a school board member, you may engage in part of the strategic planning process for your district. The school board also governs through finance. There are some significant financial oversight responsibilities of the board within the district. Those include approving the annual and 5-year budgets, allocation of resources according to those strategic priorities we just talked about, and the board also has levy and bond authority to put forth levies and bonds on the ballot when the district is seeking funding for facilities or ongoing operations. Community engagement is another important part of being a school board member. This two-way communication is important because school boards have the opportunity to both bring the voice of the community back to the district, so the district hears what the community's desires and needs are, as well as bringing information from the district to the community so that the community members understand what the district is doing, what its goals and values are as well. Board policies are the laws of the district, and the school board approves and renews and adjusts the policies on a regular basis. Within its either weekly or bi-weekly meetings, the school board will often review policies, update them according to WSSDA's model policies, and sometimes consider new ones based on laws. These board policies govern the school district, Again, they're reviewed, considered, revised, and adopted by the board. And as we mentioned earlier, they're often based on RCWs or other law. There are a few frequently asked questions from people who are considering running for school board or interested in what school board members do. The first one is often, will I be paid for this work? This is vital work, but in many cases, it's not paid work. The legislature actually lays out in statute for us a $50 per meeting stipend that's allowed for elected school board members. However, not all districts actually operationalize this within their own school board. If you're interested in finding out whether this stipend is paid within your district, contacting the district superintendent or one of the board members is a great resource for that. Will I be reimbursed for expenses? This answer is almost always yes, but it depends upon the expense. So if you are incurring expenses for travel related to school board, going to a conference, perhaps it's a registration fee for conferences or trainings. Most districts do pay those expenses or reimburse them for you. However, if you're talking about travel to board meetings or perhaps other expenses that enable you to attend a board meeting, such as childcare, those are generally not reimbursed. Again, I'd recommend that you talk with your local district and determine the answer to this question. Do I have to report my personal finances to the Public Disclosure Commission, also known as the PDC? You do, and you have to do this both when you register to run for office as well as on an annual basis as long as you are serving in that elected position. We'll talk more about this in a few minutes. Another question is, how much time will it take? This varies greatly depending upon what board you're joining. Some boards spend large amounts of time on a weekly and monthly basis doing the work that is important within the district as a school board member. Others have less taxing schedules. So again, you'll want to contact your local district to talk with the superintendent or your local school director to determine about what you could expect. WSSDA has found in surveys of our members that, again, it varies greatly. Some spend, about a third of them have indicated that they spend about 6 to 10 hours per month, but you can see there are a good deal of them that spend more than 16 hours or even more than 25 hours per month. Certainly in the year 2021, when there has been a lot of work for school boards as they have responded to the COVID pandemic, I think it's fair to say that this time has increased tremendously. So how would you run for a school board position within your local district? First thing to consider is whether or not you're eligible. And here are some great questions to help you answer that question. So first of all, under state law, those who are eligible for school board must be at least 18 years old, a resident of the school district in which they want to run for office, a registered voter, and if you're running for a director area position, you must reside within that district. How to file. Let's talk about how you would file if you're interested. Once you've determined that you're eligible with the items we just looked at, you'll want to determine which positions are up for election this year. There are two types of school director positions within the school boards at the local level. There are at-large positions in which anyone can run for that position regardless of where they live within the school district boundaries. And then there are director area positions that are based on your residence. So it's not uncommon for districts to have only director area positions or only at large or a combination of both. So for example, if your district has only director area positions, it's likely to be divided into 5 different segments within the school district boundaries. You would want to check and see which of those director area positions are up for election in a given year and whether or not you live in them. In other cases, they're all at large. So it doesn't matter where you live in your district, anyone is welcome to run. And again, some have a combination of both. It's often found that a board may have, for example, 2 at-large positions where people, regardless of where they live in the district, can run, and then perhaps 3 director area positions that divide the area up into thirds. This information can be found in your school district's website or easily accessed through your county elections office or their website. Let's think about how to file and look at the checklist of some things you'll want to do. Before you file, there are a few things you'll want to verify. One of them is that your voter registration information is current, that the office and position for which you are filing is up for election, and that you meet all requirements for the office, including living in the boundaries for that position. You can file through your county elections office, and here are some important election dates for 2021. There's a filing week during May. This runs Monday through Friday, May 17th to 21st, and this is where you can file. Most counties allow you to file online. The primaries, if there's a runoff, are July 14th through August 3rd. And then the general election, in which all candidates are elected, is October 13th to November 2nd. And just a reminder here that Washington is a mail-in ballot state, so that's why you see these 3-week periods for the primary and general elections. A great resource if you're interested in running for office or thinking about it is the Secretary of State's website. There's a manual here called How to Become a Candidate in Washington State that gives some great resources. The website is listed here, but you can also simply type into a search bar, How to Become a Candidate in Washington State, and this manual will pop up. It walks you through a variety of items you'll want to consider as you are thinking about candidacy. This is where that website leads you. The Secretary of State website. You can see here there's an elections page that is devoted specifically for candidates and campaigns. This is a great place to start. If you dig into that, you'll find that Washington State Candidates Guide. This gives you some information about where to file for office, how to complete your declaration of candidacy, how to prepare your filing fee, and also some voters pamphlet instructions. You can see that the screenshot that I have on the screen right now is the guide to the 2020 ballot. As of early March, when I'm recording this webinar, that is what's available right now. I'm sure that within the next few weeks, the guide to the 2021 ballot will be provided and updated. Again, another area on that Secretary of State webpage that may be helpful to you is the list of all the county elections departments in Washington State. So as it indicates here, you can request a ballot or voting materials, file for a local office, and get help from them. So this is a great place to start as you're looking for what is required and also which positions are open within your local school district. Here are some next steps if you are considering running for office. After you have filed, be prepared to provide a photo of yourself, write a candidate statement for the voters pamphlet, and file that financial information with the Public Disclosure Commission. That leads us to the PDC's website, which again is a great resource for you. It's important to know that you must file with the PDC within 2 weeks of becoming a candidate. The county elections office, again, can be a great resource for you here, but the PDC website really walks you through the process. Here is what their main page looks like. And you can see in the 3 bars down below, blue, yellow, and red, the blue bar is the one titled Learn. And that's where you can go to get filing requirements and due dates, other information about laws and rules for contributions, and how to file. So that's where I'd recommend that you start. Again, it's the pdc.wa.gov webpage. As you dive further into that Learn section, there's a section that's titled Start Off on the Right Foot. And you can see on the right-hand side that the new candidates is where you would want to click into that web page for additional resources and guides. A few things you'll want to know before running for office. It's important to understand how to accept and report campaign contributions if you anticipate seeking those during your campaign. Also important to know what the contribution limits are. There's a variety of different types of information that you can request from the elections office, and understanding what those are can be helpful to you too. Again, many of these depend upon what type of a campaign you're planning to run, whether or not you plan to advertise and solicit contributions, but all of the materials on the PDC website can help you make these decisions. And finally, what the campaign regulations are for advertising, fundraising, and sign regulations will be really important for you to know if you plan on engaging in any of those activities. How else can you be prepared for running for school director? It's important to educate yourself about the role. Learn as much as you can about the school district. This will really help you in understanding, first of all, are you interested in being on the school board? And secondly, being prepared if you are elected. The number one tip I have for you is be sure to attend your board meetings. You don't want your first board meeting to be the one that you attend right after you've first assumed office. You have a great opportunity to attend public board meetings anytime you'd like, and I strongly recommend you do so to understand how your board works and what the norms are. Talking with both your local superintendent and school board members can be very helpful in understanding what are the goals of the district, or what recommendations do they have for you. You can look up your district's student achievement data and lots of other information on OSPI's website, which is k12.wa.us. This is a great source of lots of information about your district, including demographics, the achievement of your students, and other materials. So I recommend heading there and learning as much as you can about the district before you run for the role of school director. Your own school district's website can be another great place to start. Take a look at what they've identified there as the information they're providing out to the community and out to students and families, as well as what the strategic plan and other initiatives may be. District goals and the mission are another thing that's important that you can find on the district's website. You'll want to educate yourself about those. And finally, talking with community members, parents, families, students, school staff. Ask them what their concerns and goals and appreciations are about the school district. Understanding what your community believes and hopes for its school board and for its district are very important to your role. There are a lot of additional resources that are available to you. Feel free to visit WSSDA's website, which is wasda.org, WSSDA.org. And also here's my contact information, which you can find on the WSSDA website, or you have a direct link to my email address here. I wish you luck in your journey to becoming a school board member, and hope that you find the journey interesting and inspiring.